Welcome back to Behavioral Finance and FinTech. I am Andy Kim, your Dr. Finance, and today I'm going to talk about the midterm of your, this semester, right? You just submitted, and I finished the grading, and then here are my answer keys, right? A lot of essay questions, so as long as you threw out some of the keywords and the story makes sense, I give you some points over there. Partial credits were given richly. I don't know, it depends on the definition of richness, I guess, but I tried, okay? The worst possible strategy for you is to leave anything blank, right? Leave anything blank. I don't give you any points, 0 point for that point, the problem, okay? Why? Number one, you are business students. You have to be aggressive. You have to fight for your grade inch by inch. So don't leave anything blank. It's like showing your middle finger to business professors, okay? Ultimately, you are a business guy. 생명력, you have to be fighting for the grade, okay? I like that. I also did that way, okay? Fighting my way inch by inch. So try it. If you leave, if you say something, I give you something. 우는 애기, 떡 하나 더 준다. It's like, as long as you cry out, right? The babies that cry, I give you more candy, right? That's the professor's mindset, okay? If any professor doesn't have that kind of mindset, tough luck for you, but tough luck for that professors as well, right? Usually, okay, we have this kind of mind. You say something, I give you something, right? So that's that. Okay, let's go one by one. The first question was about what? The disposition effect and then the air pollution. Yes. I 12 points, right? 12 points belong to this one. And then the point I wanted to highlight is that number one, what was the reason? Why historically, right? Was the air quality so bad in Korea? Domestic reason, of course, we know that. But international reason, do you know this one, right? You should have said something about why river policy in China, okay? Why? Isn't it only about finance only? I want you to become international leader, okay? And then I want you to be aware of the international situation, the neighboring country that directly affects you. And if you're international students, exchange students, I want you to be an expert in East Asia. You are studying in SKKU. The Asia's oldest history university is SKKU. Again, Asia's oldest university is here. You're studying here. So you have to have this kind of understanding, right? Precisely. I'm not aiming to persecute any country specifically, but do you know what's been going on? Okay? Huaihe River policy. And why do you think the air quality changed? I wanted you to pay attention to the current issues. The Beijing Olympics related air quality control. Yeah, this year, I'm afraid next year it's gonna get back to, original level, by the way. And then the fights against, Australia and then things like that, right? And then the disposition effect, did you mention it, is a key issue over there. Number two, questions about short selling, right? Questions about short selling. For each small questions, I assigned about 4 points over here. All in all, this part is like, 100 points to the 4. But remember, this is just 70% of your midterm exam or something. And then the remaining part comes from your group project, by the way. Group work, right? Of watching movie together. So anyway, so this part, the full points will be 100, but it's going to be, you have to multiply it by 0.7 later on, by the way. Was it 80% or 70%. Off the top of my head, I have to remember that. Anyway, I don't remember it, but I'm going to get back to that record. Number 2, question about short selling. What is noise trader risk? Yes. Do you define noise trader risk without using the word noise, right? The investors, individual investors like you and me, who is driven by sentiment, right? All these kind of things. It is a risk that price may deviate from the fundamentals even more for a longer period of time, despite the arbitrageurs may have identified an opportunity in positive or negative side and things like that. There are so many people who are saying noise trader risk is a risk driven by noise traders. What do you mean by noise traders? The traders working with based on the noise. What is noise? Come on, right? Something other than the signal. Sentiment driven, please. And then, what are those 2 hedge funds? List up 2 hedge funds, please. Go ahead and do it. Melvin Capital and Citron Research. Some people listed up one more, right? Another hedge fund. I gave them credit for that. Okay, but given that you have Citron Research over here, why don't you just write Citron, right? I gave you the answer. Why don't you leverage it, right? I gave you points. And then new risk factor, social media. Yes, for the hedge fund, so the arbitrageurs, right? Summarize what was going on in China Evergrande in 1 to 2 sentences. Yes, here, okay, is the stock price chart. I mean, make it your habit with talking with graphs and pictures. A picture is worth 1,000 words. Here, I went to investing.com. I pulled out the stock price chart of China Evergrande ever since 2000 whatever, right? Maximum picture. And you see, 2012 is the point where this Citron Research wrote short report, right? Sell it! That was this point. People did not listen to it. And see what happened. The bubble jumped. How do you say? The bubble was going crazily incurred. And then subsequently, this is where we are. $30 to $2.5, more than 90% decline. You see it with one picture. Yeah. Oh, 문과생이라 I don't know how to draw it. Come on. Right? Mix up your brain. Okay, diversify your training by meeting diverse people. I forced you to form groups with international students, right? Ideas come from all different places, and then you will be able to report in a creative manner, and then in a succinct manner like this, and later on. Anyway, so try it. Keep trying. Almost nobody was, there was 1% or 2% for, giving some graphs, but 90% of you did not bring any graphs in your answers. Come on, it's open. Okay, it's open. Right. China Evergrande, just read it, and then, what was going on, and then, short sellers function, yes. Bubble killer, yes. That's good. Number 3 is 4 points, by the way. And then number 3, 4 points again. Why is the public image about, short sellers so bad? The point over here, right? The public image about the short sellers is so bad, negative. Why would journalists cover short sellers negative manner? The point is this one, journalists covering in negative manner, right? You remember, right? The class discussion using the StarCraft Zerg. The devilish kind of pictures over there. That's the thing. I wanted you to write it out, right? Price manipulator. No, come on. I told you. The research report. Research by Engelberg, right? Evidence is that it's not likely that they're pure price manipulators, but they're more smarter money, right? So you have to be, focus much more on this part. The 2 parts. Number 1, the incentive. which is CEO's incentive and executives incentive upon the stock price, so that they prefer to have bubble, because it gives them better compensation even without working hard, working smart. No way, right? Just a bubble going on, I get $1 million more of pay. Okay? And then there comes a bubble killer. I hate you. And the thing is, the companies pay advertisement expenses to the journalists. It's a legitimate pay. It's a revenue from the journalist perspective. It's a revenue. It's not lobby, right? It's not lobby per se. It's a advertisement expenses and advertisement revenue from their perspective. It's a legitimate revenues and their daily businesses, so that they don't want to piss off their customers, right? The clients, the journalists. They don't want to piss off the CEOs and the executives. And then the PR department of the companies, Naver and Kakao, they also have PR department. By the way, one of my friends is working there in the Naver PR department. And they don't want to, they want to protect their CEO's incentive, right? And then they pressure them with their legitimate advertisement expenses. Now, so that's one part, okay? That's one part. The second part is about individual investors' overconfidence, right? Oh, I prefer to have a walking on the wild side, right? Bubble going up and crashing, bubble going up and crashing, and then I want to make money in a short run, taking advantage of that, bubble taking place, because I'm overconfident that I am a genius in market timing, baby. Right? Let's go! Not knowing that you will be the one who will suffer at the crash, right? You never know when the crash will happen, but to me, I am genius, they will say, right? So that's the overconfidence word. If you did not have that, points off. So that's that, right? Last thing I did not care about over here, but another last thing that I want to highlight is the self-attribution bias. It's another form of overconfidence. The individual investors, right? When they make money, right? They believe they are genius in market timing. When they lose money, they want to blame somebody outside. Who is the good target? Short sellers, because I'm not a short seller. You are the short sellers. And then who are you? Who are those external factors, right? Whatever that is not me, okay? I'm individual investors, you are institutional investors, you are to blame. I'm domestic investors, you are foreign investors, you are to blame. And then I'm non-short sellers and you are short sellers, you are to blame. So that's why the xenophobia goes on. Oh, foreign investors, institutional guys, and they are screwing up my money, precious money. Self-attribution bias. We're going to talk about that in the second half of our semester, and I have a paper about that. So wait for that one. Anyway, I didn't grade based on that. Number 4, Korean stock market has daily price limit. Tell me about the, what's the impact on the market efficiency? It hurts because 30% up and down is a price limit, okay? But usually the true value, if it's going to affect the company's true value, it's not going to be 1% or 2 percentage point, right? It's a child's play if it is 1 or 2 percentage point. But as you've seen in US market, right? The price can double at the announcement of the event or things like that, right? More than 30%, it can happen. Instantaneously, it should reflect the true value. But this price limit hinders that. That's why it is not good for market efficiency. But why do we have this price limit? Because it's kind of your mommy taking care of the baby. Okay, when you are a baby, you needed some protection. Assuming that you are a child. Oh, little one, don't suffer from too much volatility. Here you are, spoon feeding. and then that's the government's rule, right? There are good intentioned or spoon feeding, right? Regulatory approaches. That was good when we were young, when we were a small child, when we were absolutely emerging market. But nowadays, it is right now, okay, the Korean stock market, one of the top 10, I guess, top 15 or whatever, okay? We are grown up, okay? So we have to be, aware of this kind of things. All the good intention, the policies, do they really achieve those good intentioned policies? Does that go together with market efficiency? That's a separate question. That's a different question. Okay? At the expense of market efficiency, they were trying to protect you, us. Okay? Do we need that? Until when do we have to be children? I don't know. Let's get over. Anyway, number 5. Korean stock named crystal new materials crystal 신소재. 1370 Korean won right now. Suppose the stock hits daily upward price limit for 50 freaking days, consecutive days, right? How much would it be by then, right? 6억 8천만 원. Yeah, it's like 1.3 to the power of 50. 50승. Is it possible? Well, I'm not kidding. If you look at historical record about Korean stocks hitting the daily price limits, how many consecutive days did they hit it? Well, 40 plus consecutive days. Of course, at that point, like 10 years ago or something, the the price limit was only about 15%, so it was not this much tragic, but this crazy, right? But things can happen. Let's say your company all of a sudden hit a jackpot, so that your company's market cap has to increase by about 1,000 times, let's say. Would it be reflected in the stock price on the very day? And the answer is no. It's going to take many days. And then if you are hooked up with this price limit, 물렸거든요. It's like for 50 days, you'll be like in a heart attack. It's going up. And you cannot sell it. Things can happen. Short sellers. Imagine you are short sellers and then, caught up with that. Of course, somebody said that, there must have been some margin calls and then you will be busted before that. You're right. Anyway, so suppose a hedge fund, did it, and then 100 stocks, right? What would be the loss amount? Yes. The key point over here is like, unlimited loss you can suffer as a short seller. That's it. And then what is the company name and ticker symbol, and then the trading strategy once you watch a CNBC. Well, number 3, it's worth 13 points in this exam, right? And I told you, and I have a video about this, right? In the United States, and the video interviews with Bloomberg, all those things were pointing to this one. So what was that? Well, the media-driven attention, right, incurs short-term overreaction, bubble, and then reversal. So by watching the CNBC television, as a hedge fund manager, what could you do? Short sell it at the end of the day, right? So that's it. And then does that mean that you're going to make money 100% risk-free? And the answer is no. Quantitative trading strategies, it's all about, on average, you will earn it positive, but part of it may deviate from the average, right? Part of your observations, part of your tradings will lose money, but majority of it will deliver positive money to you. Okay? So that's that. Number 4, Why is EMH so important in facilitating strong ESG performance in publicly traded companies? Well, it's about governance, ESG. Spell it out. Spell it out when you are at loss, right? Environment, social, and governance. And there comes governance. And in your second week, I told you, right? We discussed that EMH is a key building block in 5 different respects in economics, right? The last thing, or one of the things, fourth point was about governance, right? To establish a good functioning governance, well-functioning corporate governance, you need efficient market, efficient capital market. Why? Because of the incentive the CEOs and then those top managers get. Stock option and stock ownership, and those values heavily depend on the stock price. Does that stock price reflect the information correctly? Okay? Only then the incentive works, so that the CEOs work hard and then the shareholders are happy, incentive aligned together, and then things work nicely. So the ESG, one of the things in the ESG, right? One of those 3 things will be satisfied only when the EMH holds true. If it is not, things are gone. Okay? So that was the key point. If you did not say governance related stuff, right? And then pinpoint the word corporate governance. If you did not say it, I took some points off. And significantly, 6 points off maximum, right? For this one, for corporate governance explanations. And then some people got some more points off. They were rambling too much, or I told you less than 100 words over here. And then some of you were writing like 200 words, like writing down too much novels, and then beating around the bush. I had to take some points off more from those students. Okay? Take it to the point, right? And then bring your conclusion sentence at the first sentence has to be your conclusion, right? Make it your habit. Your conclusion has to come at the first sentence to save time of the readers, okay? Remember, when you are reporting in your job, in your company, your boss will be reading your report, and then you want to save the boss's time, right? What's the best way? Saying your conclusion in the first sentence. I count, okay? It matters in my exam, right? So that's that. And then not only your boss, once you become a CEO, you have to talk to the shareholders, and if you have to write it easily, and then your conclusion has to be in your first sentence, not the last one. Don't make the readers wait until the last moment. Okay, they have precious time. Yeah. Okay, the next one is a Squid Game season 2. Yes. And then the first is about 무궁화 꽃이 피었습니다. And then, what is that? Right. Yeah, in general, the prior probability of failing to stop at any motion after the word is 1/4, right? 0.25. But in this game, the organizer is using AI motion sensor, which demonstrates 80% accuracy rate. Okay, 20% mistake rate, okay? Now, your beloved friend got shot. Oh no. What is the posterior probability that he or she failed to stop his or her motion? Well, let's use a Bayesian updating process, okay? Bayesian. M stands for moved, F means frozen, not moved, right? So, given that AI said you moved and shot, what is the chance that you truly moved? That's how we set up this math, all right? Then the Bayesian probability, right, updating happens like this. The numerator should be prior probability of, truly moving, right? Prior probability, which is 1/4 or 0.25 times the conditional probability. Given that you have moved, what is the probability that the AI machine detected that you and said you are moving? Okay? Given that you moved, what is the chance that this guy shot you? 80%, right? So that's this guy, numerator, and the denominator has this guy one more time, and then add another part or the other part, because we have just two states, moving versus not, right? True state, okay, the prior probability, truly you did not move, so you're frozen, right? So 0.75 times the conditional probability that given that you are frozen, what is the chance that the AI machine mistakenly shoot you? You move. That's 0.2, right? So if you do the math, you will realize it has to be like 0.57. Okay, good. Part B, okay? 달고나 뽑기. I don't know how many of you have tried this. I mean, the 해화역 4번 출구 or somewhere in the 해화역, there's a station, the subway station nearby. You have the 달고나 thing. The guy who really did it coached it to the 오징어 게임 movie, right? Squid Game movie. You can have those 달고나 in the 해화동, 대학로, okay? Go ahead and enjoy it yourself. The thing is, I gave you full points for this part 1 and 2 of part B, okay? Small 1 and small 1 and small 2, right? I gave you full points, right? Because of, here, the wording was a little bit confusing to you, okay? Some people did it just like what I said, and some people were trying other ways, right? So here we are, number 1, okay? Number 1. Well, the prior probability of survival. What I meant over here is like prior probability of survival, okay? Unconditional survivability, right? Unconditional, or just the prior probability of survival as a whole is 40%, okay? We never imagined anything like licking or pinning and anything like that. It's just a prior probability, 40% survival, and then prior probability of death is 60%, right? Let's keep it simple. That's the idea. Don't make it complicated, right? But you have the luxury of analyzing historical data. Good. So this is season 2. Season 1, you have the data they generated by those guys who were killed and then survived. Anyway, the first strategy is licking. Okay, fine. Based on the analysis of the previous season, among the successful players, 60% licked the cookie. Survivors, 60% licked the cookie. And the failed players, or who got shot, 30% were licking the cookies as well. The thing is, licking does not guarantee your success, all right? Maybe the licking will make the cookies too fragile so that it will, not fragile, but too squishy so that it will break up. So that could be also dangerous, right? Maybe your tongue was too much, trembling, and then anyway. So your friend started to lick it. So what's the posterior probability he will succeed? Okay, fine. L stands for licking, and then S stands for succeeding. F stands for failure. Okay, so prior probability of success, 0.4, and then times conditional probability. Given the guy succeeded, what is the chance proportion that the guy licked? That's 60%. So multiply these two, that's 0.24. You have one more time of this guy in your denominator, and then the other part is what? The prior probability of failure, which is 60%, times the conditional probability. Given that the guy failed, what is the chance that the guy was licking? That's 30%. So if you do the math, you will realize it's 57.1%, which is the same as this one, almost. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Number 2, right? Using the needle with lighter heating, right? Right? Based on the analysis of the previous season about the successful players, 25% cut the cookies by using the needle with lighter heating. Among the failed players, doesn't guarantee you, right? Those guys, right? 10% were cutting the cookies by using the needle. Got shot. Still got shot, right? Nothing is perfect, right? Anyway, so your friend 간부, 간부잖아. Starts to heat the needle with his or her lighter. What is the posterior probability that he or she would succeed? Is like this. Success and failure, and then the heating is H. Okay, fine. The thing is, the numerator is success prior probability, 40%, times the conditional probability. Given that those guys were successful, what is the chance that they were using this the lighter heating, right? 1/4, right? So that's the numerator. Denominator, you have one more time of this, and then the same thing, and then the other part is what? The prior probability of failure times the conditional probability that given that the guy failed, what's the chance that he was like, right? Using it 0.1, right? 0.1. So that's this guy, okay? Now, some of you, I mean, if you think about, so if I take you back to this square diagram, right, of Bayesian updating, it should look like, it should be interpreted this way. So 1 by 1, the area is 1. The, sum of all the probabilities has to be 1, right? Now, for the first part, it was about what? No. By default, the survival rate being 40% and then the other 60%. Okay? This is it. Many people were doing it. Good. But a significant number of you said, so complicated. We don't know this, X, and we don't know that, but it should be 1 minus X, right? And then let's solve for X and Y and things like that. That's too much complicated, right? I didn't mean to, right? I didn't mean that you have to do that. But if you were consistent and coherent in your own way, it makes sense. Okay, fine. You will have a different numbers, but the thing is, it's already like 40, 60, and then it will give you enough of information. I just gave you enough information to do this, right? So the first part was leaking versus not leaking. That's red part. So among the successful guys, 60% of them leaked. Among the failure guys, 30% of them leaked. So this is 0.24, that is 0.18. Out of these two, what's this? That's Bayesian probability updating. These two. That was my intention. That's good enough, right? 0.57 or something like that. The second part is about this part, right? Needle using 25% of them out of this guys was using that. So that's what? 10%? Is that right? A quarter of this guy. And then the other is this one. So 6% out of these two. That must be 6%. Yeah. So that will be 10% out of 16%. That's it. Yeah. Other students were like, the other part, you were afraid, like, what if they were leaking and using the needle together? I said, no, they will have to do just one, right? Which makes sense because, you know, once you burn the needle it's very hot and then you lick it, and then that's going to be dangerous for you. So different, right? Separated. And these guys, what are they doing? I didn't give you any information. There could be infinitely many different ways of doing it, right? 갈가! So like other kind of methods, right? 던져! It's like throw it and then crash it. Who knows? I didn't give you information just to keep it simple, and you try to make it more complicated your ways. What for? Come on, all right? Yeah, and then other people were, you know, I should stop here. Anyway, so that's that. I give you full points, whatever you did for these 1 and 2. But 3 and 4, I did not give you full points because you have those numbers. Okay, in 1 and 2, based on those your own numbers, you could have determined the answer for 3 and 4 in a coherent manner, right? With your own logic. So that's that. Now, let's move down to, okay, so the next one, right? As a rational player, which would you choose to try to survive this game? Well, whichever probability maximizes the chance of survival, right? Rational player. And then number 4, there's a trick, right? Overconfident, right? You believe that your base rate of survival is 90% in this game, right? Base rate of survival. Prior probability, 90%. Which one would you choose? How would you, do it? Well, some of you said, well, given that it's 90%, I would not even think about, needling or licking or just to do it. But if you think about one more time, right? That's not the end. That's not the end. Because you have to do the Bayesian updating together with them, and then your posterior probability will be even bigger, right? Oh, your chance of survival over there is like a 57%. For me, I'm such a great guy, so that my posterior will be much bigger than this one. Okay? Given that your posterior was updated from 40% to 57%. My prior being 90% will be updated even more than 90% or something like 95, 97% or things like that. And then likewise, your heated needle ways, right? I will also, have a different probabilities. Maybe given that you have like what was the result over here? 62% chance. You survive 62.5% chance. I will survive like 95.7%. Well, I'm greater than you. I'm overconfident. So, given that I'm overconfident, I do the Bayesian updating as well, and then to the full, and you will believe that you will, this will be a better way of doing it, in the same way. Okay, so that was the answer. And then part C, okay? Yeah, of course, for these parts, right? I gave you, as long as there were some people who said, yeah, the overconfident guy will not even consider, probabilities at all, for whatever reason, right? Just stick to it. I gave you some partial credit, 1 point, or bounded rationality, things like that. Yeah, but still, if you think one more time, this is it. Yeah, you will be overconfident in every respect. Now, the part C, tug of war. Like this is it. I should stop it. Anyway, yeah, so based on your analysis of previous season, among the teams that won, 60% of them tried the strategy of going 3 steps forward. 앞으로 3걸음만 갑시다. 미쳤어! It's like a crazy, Among the teams that lost, 90% of them tried the strategy of 3 steps forward. Yeah, this is just something I made up, okay? For this problem setting purpose. Okay, your team started to go 3 steps forward. Is it really a crazy strategy? The answer is yes, it is a crazy strategy. Okay, you will see it. What is the posterior probability of winning, right? Prior probability, It's 50%. And you will see it's going down because it is a crazy strategy indeed, right? Of course, yeah. So, winning and losing, W and L, and then 3 steps forward strategy, T. Let's represent it that way. And here is what how we construct it, right? Your numerator, well, prior probability of winning it times the conditional probability. Given that those guys won, what's the chance that they used 3 steps forward strategy? That's this guy, 60%. Okay, multiply it. So that's 30%. Yeah, in the new denominator, you have this guy one more time, and then plus what? Those guys who lost, right? And then fall down, and 50% times, out of those guys, what's the chance that they were using this 3-step strategy? 90%. Oh my God. So that's why, okay, if you do the math, you will realize it's going to be 40%. Yeah, okay. So that's that. And number, our part D, right? In any case, these parts are like 3 points to 4 points, 3 points maximum for this question. And part D, 1 is 4 points, and then 2 is 4 points as well. Okay. Now, welcome to the 4th game, crossing 3-panel with wide bridge, 3-panel wide bridge. So it's like what? You have 3 panels, right? In the original movie, you had only 2 panels per step, but here you have 3 panels and you have only 1 step. Okay, here's the destiny. I should say this. Here's the destination. Here's your starting point. You stand over here. All right, and you have 1, 2, 3 panels of window, right? Or not a window, but a glass, right? Any 2 of them, right, is a tempered one, 강화유리, right? 2. Which one? These 2, that 2, those 2, we don't know. But the rule is prior probability is 2/3 tempered glass. And the other must be regular glass, 일반유리, or 약화유리. It's like crashing, right? So I gave you the prior probability, and there comes an expert who will give some opinion, right? And then his accuracy rate is what? Again, 80% rate. Okay. And then let's assume that there is no chance that he will deceive you. Okay? He's no cheating. And then the panel on the right-hand side is a regular one, he said, which implies the other 2 are tempered ones. Okay? Yeah, his conclusion was, let's say his conclusion is, this guy is a regular glass. The other 2 must be tempered glass. That's what we mean by this, right? Yeah, and then I clarified this one in your 카톡방, right? And then what is the posterior probability of survival, even though you ignored his advice and jump on the right panel? So he said, this one is a fragile one, which means go to this part. But let's say you ignored him and then jumped on this one, and you, what? Probability of survival. So the posterior probability that he is wrong, okay? What's the chance that you will survive even though you ignored his advice? Okay, so how do we do that? Well, let's say TG means tempered glass, RG means regular glass, and then expert is a glass worker's opinion. And then, so let's set up the math first. The prior probability of, true state of any glass being regular glass is 1/3, right? Any of these, one of them. The other is 2/3, right, of chance of having being the tempered glass. And now the conditional probability that given that this is a regular glass, the chance that the expert will say it's a regular one is 80%. Okay, fine. And then, what's this? This one is another conditional probability. Given that it is a truly tempered glass, what's the chance that expert will say by mistake that it's a regular glass? 0.2. Okay, now, the probability, posterior probability we want to calculate is this one. Given that the expert said this is a regular glass, okay? What is the chance that this glass is a truly regular glass? I'm going to calculate this one first and then get to the 1 minus this probability. Of course, I could have said this one is true, right? Survival. So I could have said this, TG, okay, true glass, and then do the math by like this, right? Yeah, it could be easier for you if I do it this way, like this, right? That could be a one way of doing it, and then without it, I was without this calculation, 1/3 will be it, okay? And this guy will be this guy, and then 1/4, right? So what's this? Well, this is the posterior probability, okay? Posterior probability. Given the expert said this is a regular glass, what's the chance that this is a tempered glass? Well, the numerator should be what? The prior probability that this is a tempered glass times the conditional probability. Given that this is a tempered glass, what's the chance that the experts say it by mistake that it is a regular glass? That's this guy. And then that should be 20% chance of mistake, right? And then times tempered glass prior probability, which is 2/3, right? 2 of the 3 glasses should be tempered glass. So that's that, right? That should be on your numerator. In your denominator, you're going to have it one more time. And then the denominator will have one more component in it because there could be a chance that the expert saying, right, truly is correct, right? Now, given that this is a regular glass, what's the chance that the expert must have said it correctly? 80% chance times the prior probability of the glass being regular glass, 1/3, right? So if you do the math, you will realize this is 1/3, right? So I don't need this process over here. That's it. Okay. So that's how we do it. This is a direct way of estimating this posterior probability. What I gave you, okay, in your exam answer sheet is an indirect manner. Okay, indirect manner. What is that? I calculate the posterior probability that this is actually a the regular glass, which is going to be a 2/3, and then posterior probability of being a regular glass 2/3, and then subtract this guy from 1. Okay, subtract this guy from 1. In the end, you're going to end up with 1/3 again, right? So that's the thing you have in your answer sheet. Anyway, so that's that. Number 2. Okay, number 2. What is the posterior probability of dying or falling off, even though you jumped on the middle panel, right? This guy said it's a regular panel. This is 강화유리, right? Tempered glasses. And then there's still a chance that this guy is mistaken, okay? But he claimed that this one is a regular one. The other is, tempered ones. So, posterior probability of, this guy being wrong, right? Even though you jumped onto the middle panel, following the advice of the expert, right? What is it? Well, it's conditional probability. Given that the expert said this is true, the tempered glass, right? What's the chance that it is really, tempered glass, right? Tempered glass. Well, so here the numerator should be what? The conditional probability, right? Given that this is a truly tempered glass, the chance that he was claiming it correctly, that's 80%. And then the prior probability of this glass being tempered glass is only 2/3, not 100%, right? And then in your denominator, you have this guy one more time, and then the other part is what? The true, right? Truly, this is a regular glass, but the expert, claimed wrongly. Okay, it's a tempered glass. Oh my God, 20% chance, but that's not the end. You have to multiply it by the prior probability, 1/3, right? And if you do the math, you will realize this is 88.9% chance of posterior probability that this glass is a tempered glass. But remember, the problem is not about whether this is the tempered glass, but if it is a regular glass, right? Regular glass. So you have to subtract this 88.9% from 100%. That is 11.1%. 11.1%, right? 11.1%. So this is an indirect way of calculating it, right? I first calculated the posterior probability that the expert is correct, and then the end goal, final destination, is the posterior probability of this guy being wrong, right? Is 11.1%. Okay, so that is it. Okay. Part E. Congratulations! Yay! You made it! You are the only survivor of the game. I want you to consider something called power law function associated with the game. It's a tournament, a mathematical model that describes the relation between the prize money, award Fn, that the person ranking N would get in a game relative to the prize money that the first prize winner takes. P is as follows. Whatever the first prize winner gets times 1 over n to the power of alpha. Okay, n being greater than or equal to 2. Could go into, whatever number, right? n 등, right? 등수별로. Right. So that's that. In a communist world, right? The graph, right, is like downward sloping, right? Could be downward sloping except one. In a communist world, everybody in the game receives the same amount from number 1, the first prize winner, to the nth prize winner, 꼴등, right? The last one versus the first one, no difference. Comrade, right? We are all comrade. Yeah, let's go together and let's die together and let's live together, right? So in such a case, what should be alpha? That's 0. Yeah. Well, exponent, if the exponent is 0, whatever number it may be, it's going to be 1. 1 over 1 should be 1, and then p times 1 should be p. Everybody gets the p, the same thing, right? So that's how it works. Good. By the way, I was happy to see some of you were trying, the math notations function in the Word, right? Inserting, right? Inserting, and then the math notations, and then you are busily working out all those math. That's good. Now you can extend it into LaTeX somehow later in your graduate studies or other mathematically oriented subjects. But not in my class. Yeah, you don't need it. Just need to work with the math inserting function. And then this one, 3 points I gave you. Yes, if you did it, 0. Number 2, in Squid Game Season 2, you are ranked number 1. Yeah, 45.6 billion Korean won. And in contrast, the rest of the participants receiving nothing. Okay? So, winner takes it all. Yeah, absolutely. The winner takes it all situation is happening. Aber, go ahead and find out this song. Winner takes it all, loser standing small. Besides the victory, that's the destiny. Yes, aber. Beautiful song. Listen to it. Your parents' favorite one, I know. Yeah. Anyway, so in contrast, the rest of the participants received nothing. Let's assume they are all alive, resurrected. And then for this problem's sake only. And in this case, what should be the alpha? Infinity. Infinity. Okay? That's it. So because it is standing for n bigger than 2 or something, right? And take this exponent to the infinity, then it's going to be 0. Whatever it may be. Okay? Starting from n2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? Yeah, infinity. Some people said 100. Something, bigger than 100. Big number. No. Infinity. It's not a number. I know. I told you, I'm not a math PhD. Right? But you should be able to say infinity. Right? To be able to mingle with those math guys in your career going into the future. Right? You get a job in fintech companies or whatever venture companies. You will work with those engineering guys, and they, you should be able to spit out infinity, right? Naturally. I know it is not a number, but what is it, right? The original question was, what is it, right? What is it? In this case, what should be the alpha? Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, the rest of the participants receiving nothing. Right. What should be alpha? I didn't say this is precisely a specific number. You should be able to say this is infinity. Some people said 456. That was the funniest answer I've ever seen, but creative, good. But infinity, I took some points off over there. Anyway, 3 points for these questions, right? And 3, if you interpret the pay dollar distribution among the top executives, right? And then corporations have tournaments such as the alpha being high or low, alpha high or low, which one would you prefer? What's the pros and cons, right? I pretty much I gave you full points as long as you said something about it. That's like 3 points for this question. And then number 4, in computational linguistics, right? Researchers found an interesting pattern between the ranking of the most frequently used words in English writing and the frequencies of appearing in any documents relative to the most frequently used words. They found that alpha being equal to almost 1. Hey, yeah. What is the most frequently used word in the English writing? The. And then what is the name of this regularity? Zipf's law. Okay. What is the implication of this law in measuring positive, negative sentiment of news articles in social media? You just need to focus on the most frequently used, a few thousand words in constructing the list of negative words, even though English dictionary has 170,000 plus words, right? You needed to say something like most frequently, right? Narrow down to this, like most frequently used ones. That's the thing. Okay, I took some points off if you were rambling too much and then not saying these words, right? That's that. So what I wanted to, my intention for this question was like, yeah, everything is connected, right? Those dramas that you watch, the inequality, social inequality, I wanted you to have some sense of this, what's going on, right? Pros and cons, right? Communist experiments, we failed. The humankind failed through the experiments of North Korea. You see them over there, right? North Korea or Soviet Union, 70 years or something, right? Failure, disaster. But The other extreme is 오징어 games, the Squid Game. Is that your utopia? Dystopia, right? Where is the balance? What should be it, right? What is the pros and cons? Different companies have different tournament structures. Some companies, CEO takes them all. Some companies, everybody is like sharing almost equally, right? Scandinavians, they are more like group oriented. If you believe Asia is the most group oriented, nah, we have to wake up. Scandinavia is very, rather more, right? Like, in income sharing like that. Surprising me, yes, 2 hour surprise. Other countries like the United States or Britain, winner takes it all. Which one is better for your whole social well-being, for the whole members, and then also the efficiency of the economy, right? What is the balance that we have to strike? We have to think about it as a financial economist, right? Also, this is linked to what we learned, right? The language thing is connected to this idea, the Zipf's law kind of things. Isn't it cool, right? Isn't it, learn about these similarities being used everywhere. And then, so that's that. Now, I have to bring you the midterm report. Yes. So here is the thing. Midterm, how you guys did, right? Maximum 101, I gave some bonus points if your, creative answers were there, or some more graphically, or with some explanations that make more sense, and being succinct, and this kind of things. Right, 101, maximum. Median 85, average 85, and then standard deviation 9.2. Okay. Korean versus exchange students, I just, if you want to see it, almost the same, right? Median, average, and then minimum and standard deviation. More standard deviation for Korean students than exchange students. That's interesting. Anyway, usually it's the other way around, right? Exchange students were showing more standard deviations 2 years ago or long before, but nowadays it's tighter. That's good. More determined to study, right? That's good. Histogram looks like this. 100 points up to 100 points. This 100.1 is this one. Top guys, that's good. Congratulations. Wait a minute for that. That's Kim Dae-hun, right? Kim Dae-hun. Congratulations. And celebrations. I don't know the rest of the lyrics, but anyway, so that's good. Keep on working hard. Yes. And then the distribution was rather, it was making sense. Usual distribution, right? It's left skewed. Some people had a hard time understanding and then not knowing what to do. Oh my God, I'm not prepared, and things like that. But usually, you guys are following this class very well. That's good. Okay, close to bell-shaped, and then a lot of you are concentrated in the 81 to 85 range, right? And then 86 to 90, 91 to 95 is like this. Okay, and then exchange students versus Korean students, it looks like this. Korean students, you guys are, in this range versus that range over here, right? It's more of a bell-shaped, a bit more symmetric, I guess. And then somewhere over here. If I have to, if it is the end of the world and then I have to assign ABCD rank, ABCD grades, the relative evaluation among Korean students, that will be somewhere around here, 85 to up to 90, somewhere. Right? That will be it. But keep on working hard, right? Of course, if it is the end of the world, who cares about the GPA? Come on, go ahead and party, right? exchange students, yeah, you guys are, over here, a lot of you guys. I guess I have exchange students, you guys in a separate basket of grading. You guys are on your own. And then I can do it for absolute grading, yeah, instead of relative grading. So I keep on working hard, right? The key message is keep on working hard. Keep on running, baby. Yes. Welcome back to Behavioral Finance and FinTech. I'm Andy Kim, and I'm going to go through the Google survey result of this class. The purpose was twofold. Number one, I wanted to have some idea about your final exam format. Would you like to keep it just like midterm, or would you want it to be offline basis? Especially for Korean students. I mean, international exchange students, I know many of you are offshore in your own country. But for Korean students, right? Would you like to come to the campus and take the exam on the spot, or do it just like a midterm exam? Wait for that result. And then the second reason I did the survey was to get some feedback about how you feel about this class. And so that's it. Now, so let's go one by one. The question number one was about your name. Number two, are you an exchange student? Out of 36, 1/3 are exchange, and the 2/3 are Korean students. And this is consistent with our universe. I mean, out of 60 students, 2/3 are Korean and 1/3 are international students, exchange students. So I think this is representing our all student body in our class very well. Large enough of number, more than 60%. Now, responses. And then, which of the following do you prefer? If you have a meeting with me, with your teammates over the next couple of weeks for chats, 50% of you guys said mixture, please, online plus offline. So if I invite you to my room, I guess I will ask you. Okay, I set up a meeting schedule, not a meeting schedule, but I will first come first serve basis, so that set up a certain weekday, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Line up, okay, and then meet me, okay, just 1 hour. That's gonna be it. And then some people, some of your members can come to my office. You can meet me face to face. At the same time, I'm going to turn on the Zoom so that your team members can access and then talk over the Zoom, my room facility. Okay, so that's something we could think about. Number 4, if your answer Q2 was mixture, will you come to my office? And then majority of you said yes, but there were many of you said no. And are you absolutely not able to come to campus on December 7th for final exam? Okay, final exam. And then absolute majority of you said yes, I can come, but 14% of you said no, I cannot. And if your answer to Q5 was no, tell me why. And then I found this part over here. No, I cannot come. I live in another city, and then I'm distant from my home, and then it's burdensome. Please don't bother. Please, I have an internship and blah, blah, blah. But more convincing was I'm living in the other cities. And distance, matters over there. I cannot, I don't live in Seoul. It's hard to find a place at that moment. If I must, but then I would. So seems like you guys are a little bit open, even if the small number of you, 5 of you said no. You might be still open if I enforce you to come. But it depends. But then the question was like, which format of exam would you prefer for final exam? And absolute majority of you said same questionnaire for all students, 100% 24-hour take-home exam, like midterm. Okay. So absolute majority of you preferred this one. Okay, 83%, and then 100%. 11% of you said 100% offline based exam coming to campus. But the thing is, international students, they cannot come. They are in Germany. They are in different countries. International, yes. They can't. So I said Korean students 100% offline, whereas exchange students 100% online. And said only one guy said, yeah, I like it. So it seems like I have to stick to. I will stick to. I promise. It's gonna be 24-hour online exam final. One more time. Now, why do I laugh? I'm so much exhausted to create new set of questions. Yeah, let's try it. And the final exam will cover everything that we learned ever since the beginning of the class. Okay, so you expect something cool is coming up, baby. Yeah. And will you come to campus for a special guest lecture on November 23rd? There could be simultaneous real-time Zoom lecture for accessing online. The ones are accessing online. The sound quality and video reception will be poor. I tell you, right? Not like this good. This is my personal facility, whereas the guest lectures facility is just the school's one. Public goods, right? Good luck. 1/3 of you said no. Okay. Fine. Yeah, any feedback for the class? And then you said, so far you really like this class. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Bain, CEO. I mean, he's speaking Korean only, but yeah, I wish I could expand it into international ones. But yeah, they're great. Thank you for your good lecture. 네, 재밌어요, 좋아요, nice lecture, that's good, please, 유익한 정보 좋습니다, it's like I really enjoy the class. Yeah, great, but I personally would want to take those kinds of exam also in the future. Yeah, even though the midterm, the grading and the making those questions must be painful for you, arduous for you. Okay, fine. I can have a broader sight of finance thanks to this class, finance combined with psychological, blah, blah, blah. Oh, here's the funniest part. Personally, this class is the second most valuable finance class that I had taken in SKKU. Thank you. I take it as a compliment. Yeah, thank you for being honest, right? I wish you were the best, but fine. So far, so good. Thank you very much for your class. Yeah, I love it. Yeah. I can't wait to learn more about the behavioral finance. Yes. So that's that. Having said that, advertisement is next semester. What do I teach? So this is I guess that's the best interesting course in GBA, right? Global Business Administration, or SKKU finance, right? I should tell you this. International finance. What I'm searching over here is simplytaught.com. Simplytaught.com. That is a website organized, or this is a company or a venture organized by a finance professor at Arizona State University in the United States, Atif Ikram. I never knew him before this Simply Taught, but he found my YouTube lecture, English-based lecture, about international finance. This one, if you look at it, and then international finance, yes, not the marketing, this one, international financial management, right? So every spring I teach this one, and then the service simply taught over here is a matching service, okay, between so many textbooks in business, economics, and whatever subject it may be. The textbook is over there, and then there are many professors who are doing YouTube-based free lectures, just like myself, right? My lecture on international finance using this international financial management textbook by Eun, Resnick, and Chulun. Eun, it sounds like a Korean name. It's not Oin. It's not German name, right? Eun, right? That's 은철수 교수님 in Georgia Tech. Proudly, he's Korean guy. Used to work in Samsung or something, and then he became a professor. He's a big shot guy in international finance, the research-wise and teaching-wise as well. So he has a great textbook of international financial management. I mean, talking about international financial management, this is about FX, foreign exchange, right? So for that part, you need some authors from international, like Korean or experience with Samsung. Couldn't be better. And I took this as my textbook for my class, and you see if you go to simplytaught.com, they introduce me, okay? And then if you click it, you will go down to the lectures that I made over here in the YouTube. So it leads you down there. Yes. And then chapter by chapter, you're gonna see, right? Not just me, but other professors are also here. Lars Lyvander, yeah? And then governance, and depending on the chapters you are interested in, you can go through and then enjoy these lectures. Yeah. Some of them are not covered by me, but some of them are covered by me and the other professor as well. So, next semester, if you come to International Financial Management, you can enjoy this class. So, let's have fun. We're talking about advertisement, what's coming up, right, in the future, right? Here is what I'm going to do over the next, couple of months, right, over the winter break. I'm inviting some of you whoever are interested, right, to study together with me about Introduction to Mathematical Statistics, this book. But I know it's exchange students, most of you, absolute priority should be traveling Korea and Asia and enjoy yourselves and experience different culture. So I believe that this is not your priority. I am going to speak from now on in Korean language only, right? Please understand that. But I hope you enjoy the Korean Peninsula and have fun, a lot of fun, make a lot of friends. 그리고 한국 학생들 중에서는 이거 이제 궁금하시면은요, 수리 통계학을 같이 좀 공부해 보면 어떨까 하는 게 저의 제안이에요. 이거는 사실 학생 여러분들의 그 4학년들 같으면 빨리 졸업하시고 빨리 취직하는 게 최고로 중요하다. 그러니까 레주메 쓰고 빨리 보내세요. 지금 어디든지 보내야 된다. 10월에 보내면은 석 달 후에 겨우겨우 인터뷰 연락이 와요. 보통 3개월은 걸려. 지금 빨리 골드만삭스든지 어디든지 빨리빨리 웹사이트 커리어 센터에 가서 커리어 웹사이트 가가지고 레주메 업로드하고 보세요. 라떼는 말이야, 그죠? 라떼는 말이야. 75군데 넣어서 파이널리 3군데 잡았어요. 75군데. 지금 뭐 200군데 넣어도 안 된다는 게 아는데 대부분의 내가 물어본 학생들은 평균적으로 능 개수가 한 10개가 안 넘더라고. 여러분이 아인슈타인이냐? 그것부터 먼저 물어보시고 여러분 스스로한테. 그게 아인슈타인이 아니다. 그러면은 75군데는 최소한 또 넣어주세요. 여러분들의 지도하는 교수님이 75군데 넣는데 여러분도 해야 될 거 아니야. 그죠? 그래서 그렇게 집어넣어 주시고. 그건 4학년 얘기고 3학년들도 인턴십 골드만삭스 같은데 지금 인턴십을 레주메 뿌리는 건 지금 이 순간 집어넣어야지 내년 여름께 되든가 말든가 합니다. 컨설팅이든 나발이든 뭐든 지금이다. 빨리 이걸 보는 순간 거기에 커리어에다 다 갖다 쳐넣고 봐. 그 다음에는요, 겨울방학 때 뭘 할까? 아무것도 할 일 없어가지고 뭐 그런 경우면은 괜히 고등학생들 알바, 뭐라 그러죠? 과외 시켜준다고 돈 번답시고 학원 선생 하는 게 목적이면 그거 하세요. 그렇지만은 그거 아니다 그러면은 뭐 이런 거 하나 같이 하는 것도 괜찮을 거라고 나는 생각을 해요. 이거 그죠? 수리 통계학 이건데 여러분들이 통계학 경영 통계 배웠을 거예요. 그죠? 정규분포 곡선 그 공식 방정식 기억나요? 그거 외서 쓸 수 있어? 외서 쓸 줄 알아야 됩니다. 그리고 중심 극한 정리 그죠? 그게 뭐였어요? 대수의 법칙 그게 뭐였어요? 그런 것들을 줄줄이 외서 얘기할 수 있으면 좋겠다 하는 거예요. 근데 물론 경영학과 학생들이 경영 학생들이 그런 걸 다 외울 필요는 없어요. 그렇지만은 이거를 공부하는 거는 그런 걸 외자고 하는 거예요. 그러니까 목적이 경영학하고는 열촌 거리가 먼 거다 하는 거 먼저 말씀을 드릴게요. 그럼에도 불구하고 내가 이걸 여러분들한테 제안하는 이유는 뭐냐? 그냥 순전히 내가 공부하고 싶어서. 그래서 여러분들은 다른 여러분들의 프라이어리티가 있는 대로 그쪽으로 가세요 하는 거고, 일부 소수의 학생들 그래도 혹시라도 이런 통계 쪽에 관심이 있다 그러신 분들은 같이 스터디 그룹으로 해가지고 가는 것도 생각해 보세요 하고 제안하는 겁니다. 이게 언제 필요하냐? 수리 통계학이 언제 필요하냐? 사실은 이제 뭐 머신 러닝 같은 거 하잖아요. 그러면은 단순히 코딩만 하는 게 중요한 게 아니라 뭐가 중요하다고요? 통계학이고 그 통계학 중에서도 이게 확률 통계가 별도의 분야가 아니라 사실은 미적분의 일부예요. 미적분 했던 거 있죠. 캘큘러스. 그거라고. 그렇기 때문에 모든 게 다 수학 공식으로 도출이 됩니다. 도출하는 과정을 배우는 게 이거예요. 어떻게 해서 저딴 소리가 나오는가 하는 거를 꿰뚫게 된다고 요걸 하면은. 물론 한 큐에 꿰뚫기는 힘들겠지. 하지만은 수학적으로 어떻게 꿰뚫는지를 배울 수 있을 거다. 라고 보시면 되고, 여러분들 그 워드에서도 수학 공식을 쓰는 거 이제 익숙하게 하기 시작했잖아요. 그거를 좀 더 발을 넓혀간다라고 생각하시면 돼요. 아예 라텍 같은 걸로, 레이텍스 라텍이라고 그러는데 그쪽으로 해가지고 이거를 발전시키는 걸 생각해 볼 만하다 하는 거고요. 나중에 혹시라도 핀테크 관련 대학원을 간다든가 아니면 그쪽에서 일을 한다든가 하고 싶을 때는 저런 걸 해야 될 거예요. 저런 거가 확실하게 박혀있지 않으면은 여러분들 상당히 일이 힘들어집니다. 일찍 정리해고돼요. 그렇기 때문에 하려면은 그죠? 머신러닝, 빅데이터 이런 걸 제대로 꿰뚫고 하려면은 결국엔 이거를 지금 여러분 나이 때 해야 된다. 1, 2학년 때부터 해야 돼요, 사실은. 이해찬이 나는 그거라 그랬죠? 이완용보다 나쁜 놈이 이해찬이라고. 똑같이 나쁜 놈이야. 이해찬 나라를 팔아먹었어, 거의. 이거는. 어떻게 팔아먹었냐? 수학을 너무너무 쉽게 만들어가지고. 여러분들 다 바보로 만들어놨거든. 이걸 갖다 대중의 심리에 영합하는 그 짓을 하게 만든 거. 그죠? 그거를 이제 리버스 시키려니까 아주 미쳐버리겠는데, 시대는 지금 머신러닝의 시대고, AI 해야 되고, 그죠? 그렇기 때문에 그런 거에 있어서 여러분들이, 수리적으로 준비가 되도록 준비를 하는 그런 과정 중에 하나다. 과정 중에 하나다. 라고 보시면 되고, 이과 수학 필요합니다. 선수 과목은 이제 뭐 기본적인 고등학교 문과 미적분, 확률 통계 그건 했어야 되고, 그 다음에는 우리 학교에 통계학 기본을 했어야 되고, 그죠? 그 다음에 거가 궁금한 사람들한테 이걸 같이 하자 그러는 거예요. 그리고 그 다음에는 기계학습, AI 이런 것들을 제대로 해보고 싶은 사람들 같이 하자 하는 거고, 이게 무슨 파이썬 코딩 한 줄 더 배우는 거냐? 전혀 코딩 안 배울 거야. 전혀까지는 내가 말을 안 하겠어요. 어쩌다 갑자기 내가 확 걸려가지고 그냥 한번 해볼까? 뭐 이럴 수는 있어. 그렇지만은 아직은 내가 파이썬 R 이거 갖고서 디빌 생각 전혀 없으니까 그냥 수학으로 시작해서 수학으로 끝나는 그거를 말로 표현하는 그리고 증명을 외에는 문과생이니까 외워야 될 거 아니야. 외울 수 있냐고. 암기. 이과생들의 기를 죽이는 방법은 그 공식 도출하는 걸 아예 통으로 외버리는 거예요. 걔네들이 말을 못하도록. 그렇게 해서 커뮤니케이션이란 것도 수학으로 커뮤니케이트 하는 걸 어떻게까지 할 수 있는가. 이걸로 한번 같이 가보는 겁니다. 오케이? 이렇게 해서 공부를 좀 같이 하려고 그러고요. 웬만하면은 영어로 된 책으로 해가지고 가는 것도 좋고, 정 까림직하면은 저 번역본 갖고서 한번 옆에 놓고서 보세요. 그런 것도 괜찮을 것 같습니다. again, 이거는 뭐, 여러분들의 일자리하고는 열촌 거리가 먼 거고, 오히려 춥고 배고플 수 있어요. 그래서 위험합니다. 웬만하면 하지 말고, 근데, 좀, 안 그래도, 뭐, 누가 뭐래도 궁금하다. 좀 한번 좀 같이 가보고 싶다. 교학 상장이란 무엇인가. 연락 헤매게 되는데, 그래도, 교수랑 같이 헤매는, 그걸 한번 경험해보고 싶다 그러시면은, 한 번쯤, 해보시는 것도 권합니다. 그래서 저한테 이메일로, 의사를 말씀해 주시고요. 그리고 물어볼 것 같아. 어떤 분들은, 그러면 이게 그렇게 좋으면은, 아예 정규 과정으로 크레딧 막점 따는 걸로 해가지고 제공할 일이지, 뭐 하려고 이제 방학 동안에 스터디를 하냐 그러시는데요. 학점 따는 걸 제공하려고 그러면은 엄청난 이 노력이 들어갑니다. 뷰로크래시. 많은 교수님들이 다 관련돼가지고 이거를 갖다가 어떻게 앞으로 10년 동안 계속 반복적으로 가르칠래? 네가 책임지고 끝까지 다 뭐 10년 동안 가르칠래? 뭐 이런 걸 다 얘기를 해야 돼요. 근데 나는 지금 당장 필요한 거지 10년 동안 내내 이것만 하겠다는 생각은 없어요. 그렇고 플렉서빌리티의 문제, 그죠? 그런 게 있고, 그 다음에는 이거를 나도 오랜만에 보는 거가 되나서 여러분들한테 100% 이게 정답이야! 라고 해서 딱 해줄 수 있는 그런 게 아니에요. 그죠? 나도 방학 때, 그죠? 내 논문 쓰는 거 관련해가지고 관심이 있으니까 이쪽을 하겠다 하는 것 뿐이지, 그 이상 뭘 하는 거 아니기 때문에 순전히 그냥 리서치 퍼포스로 공부하고 싶으면은 이거 같이 하시라는 거예요. 나는 A 플러스 학점 받아야 되고 로스쿨 가야 되고 안 오시면 돼요. 그냥 안 하시면 돼. 그렇고 그냥 공부가 궁금해서 하겠다 그러시는 분들만 오시면 됩니다. 이상입니다. 그러면은 나중에 또 보도록 합시다. 네, 감사합니다.